to the podcast. I'm Brandon Martelle, and with me is Randy. What's up, Randy?
What's going on, man?
Oh, not much. Just sitting here thinking about this stupid meme of Laurel and Yanni.
Yeah, you love things like this.
Yanni and Laurel, so I haven't listened to it yet. I don't fucking care.
See, here's one of the things we have in common. We typically let things like this just gloss over and these phases roll through. If people ask our opinion, we freely give it, but we don't really have a preference either way. I will live and die whether or not I hear that. It's like the fidget spinner phase and all of that. But the funny thing is I accidentally heard this one. Okay. So the way that happened was I was getting ready one morning and it popped up on the news. Because if the news can make $1 off something, they're going to run with it, right? They're going to drive it into the ground. So as I'm getting ready to walk out the door, I hear Yanni, Yanni, Yanni coming from the TV. And I'm like, what is that? So these news anchors are talking about who hears what. And I'm like, it's Yanni. That's the dumbest thing ever. And I get in the car and I turn on the radio, driving to work. And all I hear is this, hey, there's this new thing going around. See what you hear. And I hear Laurel, Laurel, Laurel. So I'm curious now, just because I've heard it, to see what you hear and what you think of it.
Okay. So I brought it up on my phone. I've got everything plugged in. Got it all set up. I usually don't get into this stuff. I don't care about it one way or another, but let's see what happens here. So I'm gonna hit play, and yeah, we'll hit play again. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. So the Guardian.
Laurel, 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 Laurel.
So I just keep hearing Laurel every time.
Now, see, that's what I'm hearing
Laurel.
now.
Okay.
Laurel.
This was in this big debate.
Laurel. Laurel.
And I try to make myself hear the Yanni again because I know I heard it.
Yeah, so I'm only hearing Laurel.
So now, I haven't watched these yet, but there are now YouTube links of all these people showing, different people hear things at different frequencies and the science behind why some people hear Yanni and won't hear Laurel. And that makes sense, but I heard both. So I don't know what goes on with that, but the one that really, really fascinates me, well, I was wanting to hear yours, and obviously you just hear Laurel.
I just hear Laurel.
And okay, and that's what I hear now.
Okay.
But there's this one that I found, and I have, for you guys listening, I've clued Martelle in on this, but I have not talked in depth with what I hear on it. Is whether this little, I'm assuming it's some kind of a game or something, but this guy hits it and it says either brainstorm or green label.
Green needle.
Green needle. Thank you. Needle. I was wrong on that.
Green needle.
Brainstorm or green needle. And the thing that got me with this one is whichever one I thought of as it was, repeating, I heard. So It's not like Laurel or Yanni where most people hear Laurel. This one, whichever one I hear, I can easily change it. Now, I haven't heard it through a setup like this and the headphones and everything. I've only heard it through my cheap headphones that came with my phone.
Okay.
But I'm interested to see what you think on this one.
Okay, so here we go. Let's see what we got. Play. I'm only hearing one.
Okay, so which one are you
So this
hearing?
one's obviously pretty bulky. You can see the base of it's really...
Okay.
Stop.
Okay, so which one of those were you hearing?
I'm only hearing green needle.
You're only... Okay, that's funny because when it first started, I was hearing brainstorm until I thought green needle.
See, I tried to think... I thought of brainstorm, and I still only heard
green needle?
Green needle.
Try it again.
All right, let's...
only brainstorm.
All right, I'll think brainstorm. Brainstorm. No, say brainstorm. I'm
You're
only
still hearing-
I'm only hearing
Oh, man, that was
I'm only hearing
fascinating.
green needle.
See, I just sit here and just think, and I can hear either one. But you were mouthing the word brainstorm. I saw you like you guys will see. It was like furrowing his brow trying to hear brainstorm, and I was like, he's either going to get it or he's going to hurt himself.
I'm good. Probably hurt myself. Aneurysm.
I don't know what causes this. I don't know if it's some frequency thing or some kind of phenomena where there is a right one. I don't know, but the Yanni Laurel thing's taking the world by storm. But the brainstorm green needle one blows my mind because literally, even when you did it, like if I remember, okay, the first 2 times I want to think brainstorm, then the next 3 green needle, you play back that same clip, and I can change the sequence.
Yeah,
and I hear whatever I think. So I don't know. Maybe my brain's broken and yours is functioning, and that's why you only hear one each of
Mine's
each.
on a one-way street. It doesn't go 2 ways. It's on a path.
Once it picks its direction, it's like I'm going with this, whether it's right or wrong.
It's whichever way it decides it's going to go is the way it's heading, and that's it.
It's just done. Well, that's our.
That is kind of interesting though that you hear 2 different things, and some people are hearing, Yanni versus Laurel or green label or green needle versus brainstorm. And to be honest, the only green label or needle that I care about is Weller 12. So,
Well, I've never had Weller 12 green label, so I cannot.
or Johnny Walker green label.
I've also not had that. I cannot speak on either of those.
All right. Well, now that we've gone through that was torture.
That's the best way to open a show is to put you through something that you really, really don't care about.
Yeah. So, let's see today.
What do we got for today?
Well, we've got a couple things today. So here's what we've got on the list. I'm going to read through the list, and we're just going to go ahead and pick one.
Okay.
And start with it.
We should get a big wheel in here that we can put topics on and spin.
We should. Maybe when the budget allows.
Basically, when one of us gets a raise.
Right. So when we start making money.
We'll put out a crowdfund campaign for all 7 of my family members that might listen to this.
Right.
To get us a spinning whiteboard.
And everybody that I haven't asked to start listening to this yet. Oh. So we've got pregnant deaf woman punched along with her service dog on an airplane. Masturbation kills 100 Germans per year.
That's an epidemic.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
how?
tragic.
Driving under the speed limit, or AKA Sunday driving, and bicyclists not following rules of the road.
See, this is one where I really wish Garrett was here.
I know. So
I'm sure whenever he gets to join us next time, he will key he'll key us in on his feelings on that.
Because, well, during our initial meeting we had, I shared my story about stopping and inviting a gentleman to meet my fist at the bottom of the hill that I live at.
Was he pregnant with a service dog?
No, he was not pregnant, deaf, and with a service dog. I don't know. So which one do you want to start with? So
I say start from the top because I want to hit the. Okay, that's a really bad choice of words. I want to hit the one.
I want to hit the woman.
Pregnant deaf woman, where her and her service dog get punched. That whole story, the headlines fascinated me because there's so many layers.
Right. So let's see here. The pregnant deaf service woman, or the pregnant deaf woman with the service dog.
Right.
So this is something that came out of Florida.
She's not a service woman as far as we know.
Well, don't think so. So this came out of Florida. Shocking. Okay. Everything that is messed up in the world either comes out of Germany or Florida. So
I would think Kentucky would get more headlines like this.
You would think, but
everything seems to be Florida that we find.
I mean, everything that's coming out of Kentucky is.
I think people just don't care.
Yeah, they just don't care. So here we go. Orlando, Florida. This is out of WTHR.com. So it's a NBC affiliate. Chaos aboard an airplane heading to Orlando when police say a man punched a service dog in the face because his wife is allergic.
That's a surefire way to cure allergies. Just punch the animal.
Yep. So he also hit the animal's owner, who is deaf and pregnant. Quote, I heard yelling. At first, I didn't think it was anything, and I looked over, and there was a big group of people, said Philip Moreno, who works for the Orlando airport. It was kind of a shuffle. I saw a dog running around. What Moreno didn't see is what had happened on the plane as it was landing. The woman with the dog and her husband are both deaf and traveling with their Great Dane service dog. Their children were also flying with them. Police said the suspect claimed his wife complained of an allergy to dogs, and he felt the dog was taking more space than it deserved, so he punched it with a closed fist. The dog yelped. Then at some point, the pregnant woman was punched in the stomach by the suspect, who also touched her 2 children. We've got more. The flight attendant notified local police the plane landed. Moreno, who was at the gate, took cell phone video. I saw a woman who I couldn't really understand what she was saying. He said she was freaked out, and I couldn't figure out why this man was chasing another man. So far, no one has been arrested, but federal charges could be filed because the incident happened in the air. So, my take on this guy's an asshole.
Well, absolutely. There's I don't know where to. I got to start taking notes while we do these, because my first question when you read me the headline when we had our pre-recording meeting was, okay, this woman is pregnant, so that happens from time to time. The woman
daily,
usually not to the same woman, but so she's pregnant, she's deaf, and she has a service animal. Now I know the service animal whole topic is, I'm not gonna say it's like a touchy subject with me. I don't really care, but I see it getting abused way more than it is getting used properly.
Right.
It is.
Especially
I
on
have
airplanes.
I have a friend who has a very real need for a service dog, and even she doesn't take the dog necessary places and then try to get attention, or you know what I'm saying. It's more of a very real need to her. So when I see people walking around with their Shih Tzu, which is a far too small of a dog to really do anything, or a Great Dane, which, let's be honest, that is a ridiculously huge dog to use for a service animal. Not saying they can't, because honestly, I don't know. It perplexes me as to how a Great Dane services somebody that's deaf, because my wife took deaf studies and is friends with a few deaf people and has worked with deaf people. Even at Walmart, there was a woman at Walmart that she worked with when she was going through college, and they communicated using sign language, but I don't see how a dog would make the woman's life easier. Deaf people can still function in every way except for hearing.
Right.
That I know deaf people that drive, that work, you know, so I don't see why she even needed a service animal in the first place. So that's my first question. What does this dog do for her?
So the only thing I can think of is it helps with while she is moving around. So the dog can help with, you know, if crossing the street, cars coming, you know, interaction.
Well, I mean,
to be able to stop and move, to help move her around and
yeah, but she still has her
around.
eyesight.
Right, but she's not going to be able to hear things coming, like things coming from behind, things like that. So I can see an instance like that.
Right.
The Great Dane side of things, I mean, I will say all dogs can be used as a service dog, whether it's a Shih Tzu or a Great Dane. And in my opinion, I'd rather have a Great Dane as a service animal. Granted, their lifespan isn't that great, even though their name is
really just regular Danes.
Great Dane.
I'm just going to call him Dane from now on.
I mean, I would love it if a Great Dane lived forever, but their lifestyle or their lifespan is not great. It is very short, about 9 years, 12 years in some cases. But the guy on the plane, or the family, or the people that were getting on the plane, 2 outcomes could have happened with this. The airline, they could have notified the airline and said, "Hey, my wife has she's allergic to dogs. We would like to either reschedule our flight,"
right?
And the airline could have done something to help rectify that situation, or they could have said, "Hey, my wife has, an allergic reaction to dogs," and they could have said, "Well, we can do something like, can we reschedule you for a different flight?" And they say, "No, we have to be here for whatever reason." And then they could have went and talked to these people,
maybe switch seats, or
just, well, not even so much switch seats, but found out if they can reschedule them for another flight to, maybe later in the day or a different flight, or even found it on a different airline for one or the other. With that said, let's step on a peanut allergy here for a minute.
Uh-oh.
People with peanut allergies fly on planes. You call ahead, you tell them you have a peanut allergy, they take all the peanuts off the damn plane. The problem is the peanut dust is still in the plane. I don't give a shit how great the filtration system is on the plane.
It's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah.
So
I think my sister-in-law has a peanut allergy. I think if she sees a peanut, she reacts. So I understand that.
right. So there's probably been 2 or 3 dogs on that plane prior to this Great Dane being on the plane. Get a mask.
Probably. Yeah.
Put a mask on.
Yeah, and I agree. There are many solutions that could have been taken. It definitely should have been handled better by the puncher.
Right. Take some medication.
But I still don't get if the deaf woman needed a service animal, and I will concede that I don't know. I get your point with how the dog can help hear.
Right.
Maybe there's an ambulance coming and you don't see it, you're not going to hear it.
Right.
But 99% of the time when you see deaf people in public, unless you talk to them or interact with them, you don't even know they're deaf. They function perfectly fine.
Right.
Maybe she needed the service dog for another reason. She just happened to be deaf. I don't know. If the dog knows sign language, I want to meet it. That would be awesome.
Dog knows sign
if the dog
language.
can translate, understand English, and do sign language, I'm on board.
We got Scooby-Doo.
So, right. I'm fully on board, so to speak. But the way I'm looking at it, the story said this woman was with her husband and 2 kids.
Well, the husband's deaf also, I think, is what the story said as well. So,
Okay. So we'll assume he is. Husband's deaf, wife's deaf, 2 kids. It doesn't say. I don't know if they are or not. I don't see the need to travel a Great Dane on an airplane, but I'm not saying she didn't have the right to. I just personally, if I was deaf, I don't like handling dogs traveling in cars for great distances a lot of time.
No,
So for me, it's just more of an inconvenience thing. But so say she needs the dog. She got permission, obviously, because they let the dog board. No airplane, no airline is going to board a Great Dane without just reason.
well, they're not going to, and more than likely, they probably had to buy an extra seat for that dog.
Probably.
So
'Cause that's a big dog.
They bought a seat
So
for that dog.
we're gonna go ahead and say that the family, the deaf family, has done everything properly.
They did everything they needed to do.
They did their due justice. Then along comes Johnny Allergy and his wife Sunflower Allergy or whatever they
We
want to
got
name
Rocco, the karate kicking
Rocky,
swan kicker from the
geese
last
fighter,
episode
the geese and meese fighter
from Street Fighter.
Yeah, we're going to become the podcast that talks about people who fight animals. That's what we're going to get pigeonholed into. No pun intended. We're going to be pigeon fighters. So we got this guy. Obviously, his wife has an allergy, and he decides to wait until the end of the flight to say anything. And when he says it, it's with his fist to a dog's snout.
Well,
I'm
then-
wondering how big of a man and how hard it is. Well, I've done the self-defense training. You don't have to be a big man to hit hard. I know that. I've been knocked out by tiny men.
But you punched a dog.
But how hard do you have to hit a Great Dane for it to yelp?
Not that hard.
I've never seen a Great Dane get hit. I've known a few people who have Great Danes. I haven't spent a lot of time around them. But I saw one that I've got a picture somewhere from years ago where it stood up and put its paws on my shoulder, and its head's like 2 feet above mine. I'm 6'1". Like, I'm not a short guy.
Well,
these dogs are huge.
they'll
Granted,
stand up and be 6'7", 6'9" on their hind legs.
yeah.
I mean, they're huge dogs.
They're massive. Now, granted, a dog caught off guard, it's going to make that yelping reaction. So now, based on the story, we're assuming that deaf family did everything right. Dog has right to be there. Dog gets taken off guard and gets walloped by this dude. Why does dog not eat this guy's face? Now he's a service dog. I know they're trained not to, but the thing that really upsets me the most about this whole article is the woman who was pregnant got punched in the stomach.
She got punched in the stomach. So
that sets me off.
So, and more so than that, no charge has been filed at this point. There should be charges filed.
Yeah, there should be.
The FAA, because if this all happened in the air, this becomes, is that international waters at this point?
Yeah, I don't know.
This guy,
I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. My wife's pregnant now. We have a boy at home who's 4. We've lost 2 daughters pre-birth. One pre-birth and one slightly after birth. If somebody was to punch my wife in the stomach right now while everything looks good,
murder them.
That I would be in jail. I can fairly say I don't think that God's grace would be flowing from my fists. I don't think my mouth would be holding back my feelings. I believe that me and Scooby-Doo would be heading to the nearest hospital and talking to an attorney real quick, and somebody else would be heading to the hospital on a gurney, because I don't care who you are, especially there's no need to punch a dog in the face that's not attacking anybody.
I agree.
It's different if a dog's like trying to bite your child, bite you. Do what you got to do, kill the animal. But a service dog just chilling there, Scooby-Doo's chilling. He's eating his Scooby snacks, not bothering anybody. And my wife's allergic to dogs too, so I get that side.
Right.
But when we go to a friend's house that has a dog, when we go to a friend's house that has she's allergic to cats, or even worse,
Take some Allegra.
it's on us. We
Right.
go in knowing this is a possibility. You're in public.
Exactly.
You know
You're
this
in
can
public.
happen. There's allergens everywhere. So yeah, this dude, I hope something happens and that this family's remedied, and I hope and pray that baby's okay, because I don't care who you are. It's uncool to punch a dog for no reason. It's
It is-
unthinkable to punch a pregnant woman in the stomach.
Well,
It seriously takes a huge coward to punch a woman that's not trying to kill you,
right. Well, just
and
a
nonetheless
punch,
to punch her in the stomach.
just to punch anybody for
Yeah.
any reason unprovoked is
Right, unprovoked. Yes.
is
And no, your wife having allergies is not being provoked.
That's not provoked. All right, so next we're moving on because that just pisses me off more so than it Well, it just pisses me
More
off.
so than the Laurel Yanni meme.
Yeah. So this one I pulled up for you because I know how German you are.
Oh yes, I am 0% German as far as
Yes.
I know. So let's see where you're going with this.
Masturbation kills 100 Germans every year.
Oh yes.
Study discovers bizarre ways people die pleasuring themselves, including a man who tried to melt sliced cheese over himself.
Okay. Is there more to this article?
Oh, there is so much more. I hope.
Let's keep going. We'll come back through it.
All right, so masturbation kills up to 100 Germans a year, according to a study which also has uncovered bizarre ways that people have died pleasuring themselves. One man wearing pantyhose, a raincoat, and a diving suit, as well as a plastic bag over his head, died in Hamburg after sitting next to a heater and trying to melt slices of cheese all over his body. Another man in Hale, Halle, I'm going to go with Hall, was found dead with Christmas tree lights clamped around his nipples, apparently having tried to stimulate himself with electrocution. Forensic examiner, we're just going to go with the forensic examiner, said that most common reasons for autoerotic death was the desire for the ultimate orgasm through depriving oneself of oxygen. Between 80 and 100 people across the country accidentally die every year due to the risky masturbation practice his study has found. This was based on findings that for that 1 in every 1 million German citizens, there were 1 or 2 cases of death a year in which the prop or device was used to boost stimulation during sexual activity. All right, so...
Okay, first off, let me preface this whole topic by saying to my wife and potentially any other family members, I am sorry for this topic at hand, but hey,
He loves being German.
this is I don't know how to do a German accent.
Beats me.
Nine?
Nine.
That means no. I know that.
Scheisse.
Frankfurter,
Shite.
Bratwurst,
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen,
Porsche.
So, the whole,
Audi.
the whole topic. We're going to talk. You know what? This is the world we live
Schnell.
in, and I can. You're more German than I am. Jeez. I'm not going to mention the flag you have hanging on the wall over there.
Hondo in Mexico.
But yeah, no, the I came to this podcast to talk about real stuff, so let's get real here. And
Yep.
let's so the first guy, the one that that cracks me up is it says that he was wearing a raincoat, what else? Pantyhose?
Raincoat, pantyhose, and
A scuba suit?
a diving suit
Okay.
sitting next to a heater
Okay, first off, let's
trying
stop.
to melt slices of cheese on his body.
Okay, I'm sitting here sweating. We got the window cracked open and a fan on. You put me in all that. First off, the pantyhose, I don't know if I can find any that fit. But you throw on a raincoat that doesn't breathe, a scuba suit, and sit me next to a heater. All I got to do is lay that cheese on my chest. It's going to melt
It's gonna
itself. I'm going to be ready to flip in about 50
You
seconds.
just generate your own heat.
I've never gotten like, and I know people have their things, their fetish. That's cool. What you do behind your closed doors, as long as it doesn't hurt any other living being or creature or anything, you know what? Do your thing. I don't want to hear about it. That's not my business. But I cannot understand somebody being mentally proficient or like there's something wrong where you go, I'm going to throw on this combination of outfits, a raincoat, a scuba suit, and some pantyhose, and then try and melt slices of cheese, which I've never been to Germany, but if it's like Kraft singles here, I'm thinking that's a lot of work to tear off each of those little wrappers.
Well, no, it's probably a block of cheese, and he had to get out his cheese slicer and slice them all
That's
off.
too much work for me. That's a lot of effort put. You got to be really bored. Do they not have cable TV in Germany? Do they not have the internet? Because You know what? Here's the question we're not even considering.
Once the wall came down, everything was open. I mean, they got Hasselhoff.
That's true. That's very true. That's one of their idols
They
to this day.
I mean, they just got this feeling
So,
deep inside of them.
okay, so here's a question we're not considering. Just popped in my head. If tragic masturbation accidents kills 100 Germans each year, how many do you think happens in America? We should probably find that stat out.
Well, this is going to sound really bad, but that's how Robin Williams died.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't hear that. It's all drug related,
Or was that drug related?
it's all drug related. There's drugs involved in it. You
What's
can't
his
be in your
name?
right mind to be dressing up.
But David Kerrigan.
David, I know the name.
It's
Who's he?
karate.
Karate, yeah.
He was. We'll have to look him up. But David Kerrigan, I think, is his name. He was one of the.
Got choked out or something. And
He died that way as well.
Oh, okay. Trying to get off by choking himself or something.
Yep.
So 100 in Germany each year, at least one in America that we're aware of.
At least one. Well, that famous people.
Right.
I'm looking up Robin Williams because I may be wrong on that. I swear to God.
And somebody will get very defensive over Robin
someone
Williams.
will go, "Oh my God, it was Robin Williams! How dare you talk
Because
about
they were
Robin
best
Williams
friends
like
with
that?"
them.
But I thought that that's how he died. Let's see here. No, Robin Williams. How did he Google? Oh no, yeah, he died by it says suicide, but he hung himself with a belt. Died of asphyxiation, but I could have sworn that there was more to the story than that. That it was it was
due to a sexual tryst.
Yes,
And the
So maybe
asphyxiation went wrong.
Yeah. So there may be more. I don't know. So I'm going to go with I'm wrong at this point.
Just to err on the side of caution.
My bad, Zelda Williams. Don't take any offense.
No offense. None intended. Huge fan here. Huge fan.
Big fan of Robin. Just, thought that was the case. So
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's go ahead and move on from that one. Before
moving on to that one.
I'm going to get in trouble for even talking about that.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. I may need to stay here on your futon. But
You and Diesel.
yeah, on your me and your giant doll on a broken futon.
Yeah. Don't even give me. Yeah.
Is that a sore subject?
I'm the one who broke it.
Well, I had to lose weight.
Shit. The futon's probably 25 years old.
Oh.
20 years old at
We're
least.
going to throw that in the crowdfund campaign for the studio. New futon.
New futon.
New futon and a
For
spinning
guests.
whiteboard for the studio.
All right, so
What do we got next?
We've got driving under the speed limit, and we've got bicyclists who don't follow the rules of the road, which kind of tie into each other. So
We're about to go off the deep end on some road rage, aren't we?
yeah, kind of, because I drive 35 minutes to work every day, which
Right.
you kind of do as
I
well.
can relate. Yep.
And I get behind some slow motherfuckers. I just cannot tolerate left lane drivers.
Yes, that's it. That's the key.
I can't. I have no patience for anybody on a country road where I believe the rule is if the speed limit is not posted, it is 50 miles an hour.
Okay, in Ohio, I believe it's 45.
If it's
But
not
you know what?
posted,
You go ahead and tell your story. I'm going to look.
it's,
Yeah,
e-
I'm gonna
it's either
look.
45 or 50.
Yeah, it's in that range.
So if it's not posted, it's whatever. We'll go with 45. People doing 35 miles an hour on a country road, double yellow, straight line. You can see no cars coming, but but legally you can't pass
Right.
them. If you do, they get all uppity, and when you do pass them, then they decide they're going to speed up, and they catch up to you, and then they ride your bumper because you passed them on a double yellow, or even if it's on a dash yellow, and you pass them, they get uppity and catch up to you. So obviously
Or they
their
try
car
not to
works.
let you over, yeah.
Their car works, but because they're indignant assholes, they won't let you by, which the shit drives me insane. The left lane driving, finally, I've seen some enforcing happen on the highway with people in the left lane driving slow, like slower than traffic, or driving the speed limit, and people
Yeah.
getting coming up behind them, You have to move over to the right. You pass them. You get back in the left. I actually saw a statey pull up behind somebody, hit their lights, move them over,
and then take off.
And then pass them.
Yeah.
The thing that pissed me off, though, is the minute the cop passed him and got out of view, the guy moved back over in the left lane. I was irritated because I was coming up next. And then
he got over to where you couldn't pass.
He got back over in the left lane. I'm like, why do you need to be in the left? Like, what is so important that you have to be in the left lane doing 65 to 67 miles an hour while I'm trying to do 80? Yes, I'm speeding.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand that.
While looking for the unposted law, I found minimum speed law in Ohio. And it just starts off saying, no person shall operate a vehicle at such a slow speed as to impede or block the normal and reasonable movement of traffic. That's the biggest problem we're talking about, really.
Right. Well, normal speed for me is anything that the posted speed limit is, or if you're just in my way.
Yeah.
I mean, normal speed limit for me is you're in my way, move. Like, just get the hell out of my way. Like, I don't know how many times I've come up on people, flashing my lights, move over. I don't know how many times I've come up on people, there's no one in front of you, you're doing 25, we're on a country road, I know the speed limit is not 25 through here, pick up the pace. Move.
Yeah,
the only exception is farm equipment.
And farm equipment, see, here's the thing. I've worked on a farm. I lived in the midst of, my parents bought 8 acres of farm land and built a house on it. We are surrounded by corn and beans every other year. Just
here.
like you are right here, right where we're at right now. Farm equipment, I get on these roads. When they get out onto the bigger roads and they go for miles and don't pull over when they have the opportunity to pass, it drives me nuts too.
That drives me insane.
If I'm out on 22, 56, and you can dip off for a little bit and let some people pass, do so. Don't let 30 cars get backed up behind you and go 10 miles.
Right.
It's ridiculous. And I get it. You know, everybody, somebody once said, well, that's how they make food. No, not around here. Around here, they make crap feed corn to give to crap cows that never actually see pasture. So it's not even good food.
Well, it's not even crap feed corn half the time. I work with a guy who his parents make the shit that goes in Gatorade.
Oh, okay.
The corn that they do is the shit that goes in Gatorade.
That corn syrup crap?
It's corn syrup.
Yeah.
That's what they sell off. They're all their corn that
spray
they
it with chemicals and it's bad for you anyway. And all that crap.
It's all corn syrup and everything else because he was all pissed off because for whatever reason with whatever food law was going into place about trying to make things more natural.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, well, my parents are going to lose money on this because, they're trying to get rid of, corn syrup and food. And I'm like,
good. Tell your parents to start planting something useful.
I said,
that helps us.
I said, you've got all that land down there. You got 2,200 acres. I said, find something else to do with it. Yeah, he's got a shitload of.
Give it to me.
He's got a shitload of land.
I would just go live on it in a tent.
Well, that's basically what he does.
And while I do like Gatorade, I really anymore. I drink black coffee, water, and occasionally sweet tea.
Yeah.
But I prefer honey as a sweetener. I like a natural, and I'm not a healthy eater. I'm not a gluten-free, GMO-free kind of guy. I did eat paleo for a while. I lost 160-something pounds at one point. I not so gracefully put all that almost back on.
That's all right.
But, for me, it's like I'm drinking water. I'm trying. I got a kid, one on the way, trying to, I don't want to crap out a heart attack at an early age now.
Right.
So.
Well, driving under the speed limit's going to give you a heart attack.
What I was about to say is my stress levels, though. And the one example that I want to give was I was heading out of town, out of Circleville, on 22, and the posted speed limit, once you get out of town and across the river, is 55 mile an hour. And I got behind somebody going, now I like to go about 4 or 5 over. I'll admit, most people around here do in Ohio. That's pretty standard. You're kind of taught by your parents. If you go 5 over, they're not going to pull you over. Somebody sets their cruise about 5 over.
I'm good for about 9 to 15.
I have been, and I've paid the price a few times, depending on where you get caught at and who you get pulled over by. So I tend to slow down a little more, and I stay right about 4 or 5 over, unless it's urgent. But I get outside of town, and this old couple, when I say old, they're not really elderly. They're just older than I was. Still middle-aged. They were going 40 mile an hour all the way out of town, all the way down to where I needed to turn. And it was just one of those perfect storms where I thought, well, once I get across the bridge and whatnot, I'll be able to pass. Nope, here comes the line of cars. So every kind of like you said, I could have passed illegally, but again, that I would have gotten pulled over. There would have been that one
Right.
cop I don't see, or So I'm trying to be a good citizen, do my thing, and they're going 40 mile an hour the whole time, and it drove me up the wall. And I was trying my best not to tailgate, but I was so frustrated. I'm not tailgating. I'm not trying to honk my horn. I'm trying to keep my cool, but it's tearing me up inside. Like I want to fight somebody. I want to start karate kicking ducks and fighting Mises. Like I'm so mad. I don't care. I will punch a deaf pregnant woman's dog in the face at this point.
Oh.
If that dog is the one walking 40 mile an hour, well, I'd probably be impressed, but still.
If that dog was walking 40 miles an hour.
No, it is. It's one of the most frustrating things to me. And in Ohio, I love Ohio because the laws here are so lax. They really are compared to like a California, or there's a lot of laws that are lax. But one of the things I wish they would keep up more with are drivers and their vehicles.
Right.
Because in Ohio, you don't get your annual inspection. Then somebody's driving, they never change their tires.
I'm kind of glad we don't have an annual inspection because
Well,
every car I would have owned up to this point,
Yeah.
probably including this one,
absolutely.
I would have failed.
Absolutely. And a lot of my old trucks and whatnot would have too. But the danger comes when you got somebody that never changed their tires, and then they're going 75, 80 mile an hour down, 70 or 33. That tire blows and the car starts going wonky,
Right, and then-
taking people out.
And then they end up upside down.
I'm glad we don't have the inspection overall, but I think
we
you
have
should-
the inspection. It depends on the county. Like up in Cleveland, they have inspections up in Cleveland.
That's true.
We don't have it here in Central Ohio.
Right. I wish the
thank
one
God.
thing that we would do though is start testing people. As you get older, you should be tested more frequently.
Oh, yeah.
To where at least once you're past, I'd say
65.
I was gonna say 60, 65. I would take every year, maybe twice a year. You need to be checked to make sure your mental capacities are still there, your eyesight's still there, your reflexes are still there, and ask, hey, if it's 55 mile an hour speed limit, how fast you going to drive? Because they don't say at least 55. Take their license away.
The
I would
answer
be
is
fine with that.
the speed limit.
Right, exactly. The speed. I will
speed
drive
limit.
the speed limit. And if I want to go 60 in a 55 and people are going 55, like I'm cool with that. That's not going to upset me. When people go 50 and 55, I get that kind of like, come on, dude, like that kind of annoyed mode, but not mad. But when you drop down to where you're causing a line of traffic to back up,
Yeah.
It's-
See, and that's
more than annoying. It's a hindrance, and it's downright aggravating.
my neighbor's one of those offenders. The guy that lives a couple houses down used to own all the property that's around here. He's the old farmer, and he still drives through here like he owns the place. The speed limit on my road is 50 miles an hour. I live on, and it's
It's a rural road.
it's fairly straight. It's a rural road, and it used to be a dirt road that just cut through the cornfield so that you could access the cornfield, the middle of the cornfield.
It is. I'd say it's rural road, no painted lines. I mean, it's backcountry.
Yeah. No, it's a painted. There's got a painted line on it.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
It's got
pay
a painted
attention.
line on it. There's been some street racing out here on this road.
Well, it don't surprise me. We're so close to Lancaster.
I mean, we've had bikes out here that line up. We've had cars line up in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. He gets out from his house in his old farm truck. I've seen it do over 35 miles an hour. He will leave his house and he will drive up to Canal 35 miles an hour the entire way. I want to choke him.
yeah, it's that's a long trip from here to Canal too, especially at 35 mile an hour.
35 miles an hour. It
It's
is
twice
a
as long as it needs to
long
be.
trip.
Yeah,
So
I can't do it. The other one that gets me is the people that drive. And let's be honest, a lot of these people don't even have their license that drive like idiots. But the ones that weave in and out of traffic, I mean,
that's me.
There's not like I'm talking. I've seen you drive, and I trust your driving skills more than the people I'm talking
Wow.
about. Where every time they do a lane change, they're doing it at 9 mile an hour, and it looks like they're losing control.
Oh,
know?
no. I'm not
They got a
that
crappy,
guy.
Yeah, they're driving erratically. That I don't want that either. But I just want people to move.
Yeah,
Period.
I'm in and out of lanes. I'm from the left to the right. I will cross 3 lanes of traffic in one blinker's
I
blink.
call that a NASCAR evasive maneuver. That's what I call those.
Yeah, I'm across. I will cross 3 lanes of
I use
traffic
a
in
signal.
one blink.
All right,
I
be like,
will
"Hey,
use a signal.
I showed you I was going to do this.
And the turn signal is not there to let you know to ask for permission to get over. It's there to let you know I'm coming. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm in a bigger vehicle than you are.
Right.
I'm coming over, and it's not to ask for permission. It's to notify you that I am coming. And
Yeah, you know on 71 North when you get past Green Lawn where
Yeah.
people try and hit the 71 split.
yeah.
Notorious here in Columbus for being just an awful traffic jam.
Well, yeah.
Well, I used to work up at Graceland near the Shopping Center, US Bank, and I lived in Circleville, and I drove a lifted Cherokee, 31-inch tires.
Yeah, I remember
solid
that thing.
steel. You remember that?
Yep.
Solid steel front bumper. It was decked out.
Yep.
It was a little tank, and I had paid off the time, and if it rolled over, I probably still would have been able to drive it home, been fine with that.
As long
But
as
I
you
was,
get it rolled over.
right. Yeah, it's kind of a box.
If you can
But,
read this,
yeah,
flip me over.
Flip me over. I didn't have one of those stickers. I just had a sticker on the back that said, "My Jeep ran over your honor student." So I kind of ran into that whole Jeep subculture, I guess. That's all I really did. But yeah, I had that lifted Cherokee. I loved it, and I was driving up there, and I got over early enough, and of course, not everybody, half the people always try to wait last second and then push their way in. Well, I've always said that I will maintain speed. I won't speed up or slow down to be a jerk.
Yeah.
But as I'm exiting that ramp where basically 4 lanes try to come to one because everybody tries to jump off last second and cut over 3 lanes like you were talking about, I'm just going to keep going. Well, one day it happened where this guy's coming in. He was driving one of at the time, the newer Neons.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him coming up behind me, and there was no room in front or behind me. In the lane I was in. He's coming up the left, and then he got off the ramp, and he's kind of in the berm, but it tightens up as you get
Yeah.
up that ramp.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a lot of room. If I would have moved over and driven off the other berm, he could have fit side by side. I wasn't going to. Traffic was flowing, and we all maintained speed. And he starts looking up at me, and I look down at him and just shrug my shoulders. And as it got a little tighter, he kind of bumped the curb, so he overcorrected, and all I hear is "Brrr," where my tire met his side view mirror and ripped it clean off. And I went on to work that day not feeling bad at all because I did not intend to do it. I did not swerve towards him. I maintained my lane and my speed. And you know what? I honestly, I don't care about people that don't care about people.
No.
That's my philosophy.
He deserved it.
If you want to try and be a jerk and overrun things, then you got what's coming to you.
He deserved it. So, and with that,
Yeah, speaking of people that don't obey traffic laws,
we've got certain, and this isn't everybody, and it's not everybody that gets.
it's not everybody. It's just the very great majority, vast amount of people that do.
It's that guy that or gal, because I've ran into both. That likes to feel that rumble of self-powered 2 wheels between their thighs.
I think they just want to feel their thighs.
The bicyclist.
Boom, boom, boom.
I have nothing against most bicyclists.
I don't either when they're 12.
There are those of you assholes out there, and yes, I'm going to refer to you as assholes, that think you own the road just because we have to share the road. You're right, we do, and it's unfortunate in some cases. I have had way too many encounters with Johnny Bicyclist,
Johnny Armstrong, if you will.
where, and it's more these guys that are training to be the next Lance Armstrong, but they're never going to make it anywhere. You know, all decked out in their spandex garb with their aerodynamic helmet riding up and down my street. And I wish they'd pick another street, only because my street has hills on it so they can practice for the Peloton. And they ride in Pelotons. And speaking of that, getting a single line, one after another, nut to butt. Because I have kind of gotten to small arguments with some of these folks. Most of them have obeyed the laws. They will get over.
Yeah.
And I do understand that I have to share the road with these people. I am not allowed to hit them. I'm not allowed to run into them. I'm not allowed to vehicularly assault them in any way, as much as I would love to. But these are some mouthy ass people. I was mowing the other day. I wasn't even on the road. I was mowing the other day, and I had a guy yell at me because I didn't turn off my blades as he rode by because I got a little bit of grass on him. or shot grass in his direction. Too bad.
I shoot grass in your general direction.
You were a good 8 feet away from me, and trust me, if you're that mouthy with a lawnmower, I can't imagine what it would be like if you and I were riding down the road and you guys were 4 wide, and all I want to do is get around you because we're heading up a hill.
Yeah.
And you guys are 4 wide, and you guys can't get in a single file line.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, with the cyclists, and if Garrett was here, and I'm assuming he's going to listen to this, Garrett is a cyclist.
God, I hope so.
Him and a mutual friend of ours, Ian. Ian actually is on a race team. As far as I know, and I've talked to them about this, they're very respectful. They obey traffic laws, and they point out the fact that not everybody's this way, and I agree.
Right, not
'Cause
everybody's
I had the same
this
complaint
way.
about people on motorcycles.
Oh, yeah, the crotch
same
rocket
people that you
assholes.
see with the yellow bumper sticker that says "Look twice, save a life" are the same ones. Not all of them.
Not all
but
of them.
a lot of times I see these idiots popping wheelies on the freeway, splitting lanes, driving in between traffic, passing in no passing zones. So that happened to me a few years back. I was coming home real late at night, got off the freeway from 71 south on 665, heading to a commercial point. As I turned right, these guys were on my tail. I mean, up my tail where I couldn't see their headlights on their bikes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
And
in a
that-
normal sedan. And they shot around me, took off. Well, there are 3 of them. The second one didn't realize it. There was a little deer waiting across the road. When I say little, I mean a big old full-size doe. That thing ran out in front of him, and he about ate it. He didn't go down. But, of course, when I saw him, the day it was dusk, it was kind of dark.
Yeah.
I locked up my brakes, and they were far enough ahead of me. I wasn't even going to be close, but I hit them pretty hard, so I don't want to be near a cyclist that goes down.
Right.
Because I don't want to have the conscience of even killing an idiot on me because they screwed up. So,
Right.
But it's the same thing with bicyclists. The vast majority of the ones that I encounter and see do not care about you. It's the same with the slow driver or the idiot driver. This weekend, actually, they're doing that. They did that big ride, I guess, down to Portsmouth or whatever.
I have no idea.
They come down Walnut Creek Pike and go right through Circleville and then right out past our place and down 104.
Okay.
So I see them. We just encounter them all weekend. You can't not see cyclists. And I was in town going home from my church today, stopped at a red light by the speedway in town, and the cyclist came out of the speedway, probably got water or whatnot, or stopped for a piss break, whatever. And they were coming up this slight hill to the light, and it's a 3-way stop where I'm at. And I'm heading to go straight up Court Street. They were looking to turn right and head north on Court Street, opposite direction of me. Well, our light had just turned green. They double pumped it to get up around the hill and pulled out in front of traffic without stopping. And I'm sitting here going, okay, you two, is a guy and a girl, middle age, probably around my age, I'm guessing around mid-30s,
Yeah.
pulling out in front of a full-size Chevy pickup truck that may or may not have seen them. You don't know, but the fact is they didn't stop. Now, if he hits them and injures them or kills them,
It's on him.
He's got to live with that crap because they're idiots. That drives me nuts to no end. And I understand, and I know when Garrett or Ian hears this, I may get a text or something, that's fine. I get not everybody's that way. That's not who we're talking about today. We're talking about these idiots that ride slowly 4 wide up your hill, these idiots that do not stop. And I know that bike laws in Ohio are different because I've been shown them. Bicyclists are allowed to do rolling stops. But I've also seen them outside of Asheville at a 4-way stop roll through the stop sign. If a car's going the same direction, they don't stop at all. It's not a rolling stop. It's a screw you guys, I'm on a bike and you better not hit me.
Well, I've seen them come down off my hill and just
shoot through.
Just shoot through.
And
like
that's a sketchy intersection.
That's a horrible intersection. They come down off that hill. They don't stop. It's not even a rolling stop. It is a slow down, look both ways, and just pedal on through. It is power through that.
Yeah, well, it's
that
blind.
intersection.
It's blind on the one side.
Right.
Because I've driven that many times,
Right.
and that intersect the other road, the crossroads, 55-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Yeah, they don't.
Because I used to drive that every day when we lived outside Logan and I worked in Columbus.
Yeah.
I'd go through that way because I hated 33. And I've seen multiple vehicles almost collide.
Well, you hit that turn the wrong way, coming the opposite direction, just in a car, you're going to end up in the one guy's yard.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many people end up a year
sliding right through there.
slide right through that, and then has to be,
Probably
someone
100 a year.
Has to be. They have to be towed out of homeboy's
pulled
yard
up,
because they took that the wrong way, and especially in the wintertime. It's just a horrible.
It's
just
a bad intersection.
The way that road's constructed.
There's a curve on one road, a steep hill on the other. It's
just
really bad.
You hit it wrong, and it's like a
that
rally.
just more proves the point that a cyclist should come to a complete stop.
They should.
And make sure it's clear.
But I've had more interactions with cyclists down here.
Yeah.
That are just
arrogant.
They're arrogant. They're just flat out dickheads about, well, you have to share the road with me. You're right, I do. But you have to share the road with me.
Right. Reciprocate.
Keep that in mind. Like, I need to get by you, and me doing 5 miles an hour up a hill is not conducive to where I need to be
Well,
in the time that I need to be there.
Right.
I'm not on your lifestyle. I'm not.
It's also
on your
not safe
plan.
if you're going up and down hills at 5 mile an hour and somebody comes flying over a hill and rear ends you
Right.
because they're in the middle of the road. Now
Right.
you're part of their accident.
Right. And
if they're off to the side, if you're able to pass,
Well,
everything's kosher.
It's like the one guy that I had the deal with that I came. We live, the one section of the hill is pretty hilly, so we come down over the one hill, come up the hill, and guys, they're riding 4 wide. So I'm at the bottom of that hill. They're halfway up the hill, so I start coming up, get up behind them. None of them are moving over. Just a little toot on the horn. 2 of the guys move off, but they're still 2 wide. They should be in single file at this point. And so I make a move. It's double yellow. I make a move to kind of pull off. I have my windows down. The guy yells at me. I don't know who the hell you think you are. Well, I kind of think I'm in a truck. So I just kind of slowed down. I'm like, what? He's like, I don't know who the hell you think you are. And I'm like, just kind of had a little conversation at 5 miles an hour up this hill. Luckily, no one was coming. And got down over the crest and yelled some more expletives at him, and he yelled some more back at me. And I just told him I'd meet him down at the bottom of the hill. Lo and behold, 10 minutes later, I met him at the bottom of the hill, and I'm standing there, and he looks down, and he's like, ah, shit. I'm like, come on down, buddy. Come on down. He's like, I didn't mean it. It's just got people out here. And I'm like, you really need to ride single file out here.
Yeah.
Like, people, they don't want to deal with your guys' bullshit out here. No one likes you guys out here, especially me. I don't want to deal with having to ride, drive 5 miles an hour. I don't want to deal with your shit.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier. What you do behind your own doors that don't affect anybody else, I don't care. It's the same thing with riding. I did the cycling thing, but we only rode on paths. I'd ride for up to 50 miles down a path at a time.
Yeah.
I rarely rode. If I rode on a country road, I was by myself, I would pull over because I was afraid of getting hit. If I heard a car coming, I just moved. I'm not Lance Armstrong. I will never be Lance Armstrong. Even getting back to my best weight, I'm not. So my issue becomes with, you're allowed to have your hobby. I don't get it.
Right.
I know Garrett spends absurd amounts, and Ian, my buddy, they spend absurd amounts of money on bikes to me. To them, it's what they like. They work hard for the money and they spend it. Cool. I get that.
Well, none of these guys are going to be Lance Armstrong either.
No. When your hobby affects my life, then I've got an issue. I've got hobbies. I like to, I'm trying the blacksmithing and making knives.
Right.
I don't do it in the middle of the road. I don't do it in the middle of the night.
You should, though. You should do it right in the middle of the road.
In the middle of a busy intersection, in the middle of the night, wearing all black clothing.
You should get your forge.
And then get mad when somebody almost hits me.
You should get your forge.
Just fire it up.
That's the only thing you can see in the middle of the road.
Just a fire.
Just a bright orange.
Let's be honest. You see a fire in the distance on one of these roads, you're going to turn around.
And a power hammer. Right. Just dunk, 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 dunk.
But yeah, it's like, I'm all for having your hobbies, but don't sit there and act like it's okay for you to affect other people's lives with them.
Yeah.
I don't care that you want to ride your bike. I don't care you want to ride on country roads, but be respectful.
Yeah.
That's it. And follow the laws. Man, I can't respect somebody that's yelling at me when they're not following the laws. When I pass the bikers coming here today to record this, I probably passed 20 or 30 bikers.
Yeah.
Out on a country road on 22. When traffic was coming, I slowed down. I gave them plenty of room. As soon as it opened up, I got all the way over and shot around them.
Yeah.
Not speeding. And that was fine. They were all riding respectfully.
I've gone far left of center and been flipped off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
There are just people out there that don't care.
If it's... But I've only noticed that around this area. And it's been not just in my truck. It's been in different cars. Like, I've had, different cars, so it can't be just the same
tiny
guy.
Little Nazi mobile.
Yeah.
Say it.
Yeah.
you're all the German cars. You're calling me a German.
All those German cars I used to own.
I think I know part of your problem.
No. I can't say it's the same guy and it's me in the same vehicle. It's been in different vehicles. It's been in my wife's car. It's been in my truck. It's been in one of my Volkswagens. One of the Audis I was in. But I will go far left to center, go around them, not stomping on the gas, not being obnoxious about it. Just go around them.
Close.
Boom, middle finger right in the air. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So,
It's
and
like
I just don't have
the patience.
the patience to even bother to stop anymore to find out what the problem is. I don't care. I just really don't give a shit anymore to stop and figure out what the deal is.
And I
would almost rather just hop in front of them real quick and stomp on the brake.
Just boom.
And then just keep going.
Right, and then just go.
And then
I
just
don't
go.
care that your face print is on my rear window. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, and I know somebody's going to hear this eventually and be like, "Oh, it's not that way," and "Oh, this." We get that, guys. That's not what we're saying. If you're riding smart, if you're being respectful of other humans, cool, do your thing. We don't care.
It's really only about 2%.
Right. We just
Maybe 3.
It's just they all ride out on these country roads.
Yeah, it's just.
Well, my thing is, it's like every person that does karate doesn't go around kicking geese in the head, but that one that does makes everybody else look like a freaking idiot.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
I do karate. Oh, you ever kicked a goose in the head?
He turned a park into his own little dojo.
His little dojo. Same thing with cyclists. Like, these guys are complete idiots, and I've seen more. Almost every time that I see them out in a rural area, they're doing something they shouldn't be doing,
Right.
and they don't care. And then if you say something to them or say, "Hey, if you're polite, hey guys,
Yeah,
I almost hit you because you blew through the stop sign, or you rounded this blind curve without slowing down, or you didn't signal," they yell at you like you're at fault.
I've had him stop in my driveway. So here's a good one, for instance. I've had him stop in my driveway. Fine. You want to stop in my driveway to readjust your party pants or whatever? Stop in my driveway.
I'm going to call every pair of pants my party pants from now on. I'm always in my party pants.
So they stop in my driveway, but as I'm trying to leave,
Yeah.
are they moving?
No.
No. They're just stopped. What am I going to do?
And you've got tons of roadside frontage on either side of your driveway. They can stop anywhere.
There's a huge ditch. They can't. So I would rather they just
I
stop
do see
and
a
lay
ditch
in the
out there
ditch
now,
and then
yeah.
stay there. But they stop in the driveway. No, they're not. They're not
and
moving.
It's not like your road's that busy. They couldn't just move out of your driveway a little, or go across the street to the other driveway.
Right. So
I mean, if they see you, like, it's cool if they're in your driveway, but if you're coming, they should be able to let you through.
So it's like I come down the driveway, like I'm coming down the road to pull in the driveway. I put on my blinker, and they stand there and look at me.
Yeah.
So I put the window down. Hey, you guys mind moving? Oh, we're stopped here. Yeah, I live here. Move.
I see you're stopped here. I'm about to go there, so you have a couple options.
Where are we supposed to move to? I don't care.
What do you mean, where are you supposed to move to?
I don't-
There's a whole lot of road you took to get here. Move to some other part of that.
Move someplace else other than out of my way.
Right.
So it's just like, oh.
Yeah,
Well,
I have a real problem with people.
Get the fuck out of my way.
It's like if you're mowing and you're in your property and you're not intentionally bothering anybody, or if you're trying to pull in your driveway and they're blocking you, I have a serious problem with that because that's your property.
Right. So, and that's the shit that I deal with out here is I got, 2 different assholes that one of them thinks I'm trying to cover him in grass, which no.
It's like modern day tar and feathering.
Right. And the other guy is, that was a couple years ago. Him and 2 other people stop in my driveway and they look at me like, what's this guy want? Well, I want to get into my house.
Right.
Move. I'm like, just move your bikes into the yard so I can pull in my driveway and then let me through and then get the hell out of here.
You know what you need to keep them off your property? A BB gun.
No, what I need is sentry guns.
Automated BB guns.
Automated motion sensor sentry guns. So, all right. What else we got? Nothing. We're done.
We're done. I think that was enough.
I'm overly pissed off about
that
bicyclists
started
now.
off interesting a little bit, and then it got kind of peculiar with the deaf pregnant lady, and then now you're just angry, and
Now
I'm going to
just
go home after this.
Angry, and I want to
Leave you to your wife and your kids all bitter.
I think I'm going to go work on the deck.
You should. It's going to start raining as soon as you get a hammer.
I know.
Watch.
The minute that I break
Be
out the
beautiful
saw,
all day.
I'm just going to get electrocuted. So, with that, we are out.
We are outie.
Make sure you guys check us out on Facebook, like and follow, share, do whatever it is you guys do on Facebook after the new privacy policy changes.
You know what, too? If you don't like, leave one of those angry faces and tell us why. We don't really...
Yeah, send us a review. Tell us why.
We don't want to not hear from you. Tell us what's going on.
Tell us why we're wrong about bicyclists. And
Which we're not, but you can try to convince us. Try and change our minds. Good luck.
bicyclists suck. Change my mind.
Love you, Garrett. Love you, Ian.
See you guys.
Later.